It's been 10 weeks since I had my stroke. I've started this a lot of times, and, it got kind of really long and drawn out when I really kind of wanted to just touch on a few things, like the physical part of it, but I really wanted to also tell you a little bit more about the things that I've realized since I've had my stroke. Physically, since my stroke, I am doing really well. I'm probably 85% back to myself in a physical way. I can walk without my asshole. I haven't fallen in probably over a week, and my balance is good. My strength is getting better. I had like 11-pound grip in my left hand. Now it's like 44. I have my eyesight is probably about the same as it was prior to my stroke. And I don't really have, like, when I even switch eyes, I don't really have any separation. Like, it was like I was seeing half out of one eye and half out of the other, and that's kind of changed. My tongue, sometimes that feels it's kind of like you went to the dentist, like a little extra or something in there. Swallowing and everything, I haven't choked and I haven't had a whole lot of trouble with that, like I did in the beginning. Like I would have to swallow a couple times just to get a drink of coffee down and stuff like that, but that's all good. It's been only 10 weeks, and I'm so grateful that I can get around. I mean, it's, and I'm kind of grateful that, see, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, honest and truly, physically, if you've seen me and you haven't seen me, or you've seen me after I had my stroke and now you see me, you're like, wow, man, you're like yourself. And I've had a couple of people say that. And well, in the process of trying to make this video, I really kind of just flat out deleted a whole bunch of stuff that I was trying to touch on, and once hopefully, if I can figure out how to splice it all together, you might get a full picture of it. But in the meantime, right now, this is going to be kind of like a part 2, I guess, and I was speaking about the general nature of the stroke that I had, and pretty much how I've been see, this is really hard sometimes. But I was gonna just cut it again, like I've done at least 100 times, but that's kind of what I want to show you, that I am struggling really hard at times with keeping a train of thought. Now that kind of brings me back to the type of stroke that I did have. And the thing is our personality and the way that we view ourselves is inside our brain. I've had a few realizations, and that was the one that I did delete, or maybe I didn't tape it, I don't know, but there's some things that I know about myself and how my stroke has affected me, that I haven't really, I didn't realize until just recently. And one of those things is the ability to initiate a story. If it's something that I know, I can do it. If it's you know, a memory or something, you know, that just recently happened, or something that's just, you know, kind of engraved, I can figure that out. Or and I, you know, I really, I all day I've cut and clipped, and instead I decided that I'm gonna just kind of allow you to maybe get an example of what I'm talking about. Severe. I mean, I always had some ADD, but whoa, you know. Well, back to some of the realizations. Well, physically, like I said, I think I'm back probably close to 80%. My eyesight's decent. It's probably back to what it was, which wasn't decent, but is good enough for me. But the deficits that actually are becoming more apparent because my deficit is becoming less is cognitive. And that has to do with my memory and the separation of things and judgment and a lot of things such as that. When I first had my stroke, I cried, you know, for like 5 days straight, and I was really confused and see, even when I'm saying this, it's not so much like I remember it. It's more like it was a story, and it might have even been something I've already said. So I don't know, you know. But that's the things I'm dealing with. All right. Well, I know this is kind of flipping in and out of some different things, but after I was starting to edit the video, I realized that there was something kind of important that I noticed today too, that I wonder if anyone else has had this with having a stroke, and that's since I'm trying to edit these videos, and I can, when I look at the videos and I watch them, I don't really remember all the stuff that I was saying on them at the time, you know, like, I mean, it's kind of new to me, but I realize it's familiar. I mean, my face looks familiar to me. And that sounds kind of weird, but it's weird because when I see myself on a video, I look way different than when I look at myself in the mirror. I'm trying to figure out exactly what that is. I mean, it's not, I really, when I have very seldom looked in the mirror since I've had my stroke. I mean, I do my hair and stuff, but it's weird because sometimes when I look, it doesn't look like the me that I'm expecting to see, maybe, or I recognize myself, but there's parts of me that I think I either don't see it or there's something missing, and I notice the difference, like when I look at a video in comparison to looking at myself in the mirror. And I mean, I know that it's me, but sometimes I really feel almost confused because I don't look the same as what it's not even like I expect to see myself a certain way. So I kind of get lost in the way I look for a minute. Like I recognize myself, but at the same time it's like looking at myself through a different mind, and maybe I'm making deductions and you know, putting the contrast I have available, and maybe that's why I can't see, you know, myself as what I expect to see, maybe. You know, I mean, I realize who I am, of course, but I like to see myself on a video a lot more than I like looking in the mirror. So that's one thing. Okay, so I got kind of trailed off again, so just to save you that. But you kind of get an idea about what I'm talking about, being able to hold a thought. Specific things that I notice and that have been realizations, and that are, I'm sure, directly related to the stroke is I don't really have the ability to make up a story. It hard to even explain that. I tried to change, I believe it was, I tried to call and change an appointment, or, you know, and I couldn't think of a reason that I didn't want to go, other than I was really tired and I didn't want to go. So that's pretty much what I said. I can't, you know, that kind of stuff, I just can't, like, come up with something out of the blue. I didn't really notice that until then. And then I asked Val, I said, have you noticed, have I said anything that, like, told any kind of story or anything? And she's like, not that I can think of. And I don't know if she knew what I meant, but I mean, if it's a fact, and I know it's a fact, it comes, but I just can't, like, you know, okay. So I kind of thought that was, like, the main thing. But last night, listening to some music and stuff, and You know, I've seen my guitar sitting there a few times, and I thought about trying to pick it up, but then, like, I touch it, and it just felt like I didn't know what to do with it. And it's not like I was any great musician or anything, but it's just like a strange non-desire, you know, for it. Well, listening to some music last night, I decided, well, I feel like I could maybe play it, you know. So I grabbed the guitar and tried to, you know, with my eyes shut, and just, you know, I kind of strummed a little bit to the beat and everything, and then, you know, of course, Pandora, you know, boom. It cut off for a commercial, and I was just, like, sitting there with this guitar on my lap saying, it just didn't even feel like, I didn't, it felt really awkward and strange, and like, I didn't know how to start, like, to even play with it. And I don't know, probably drifted off into something. The music comes back on. I know what to do with it. The music goes off. I have no clue. And I've noticed that a lot with things. Not just that. It's kind of like not having an imagination, but I know I got an imagination. It's like not having the tools or it's like having a bunch of things thrown in one group, and there's a story there, but you don't know anything about it. So that was kind of strange. I was really happy to find out that I can read, you know. Sometimes people can't read. I was lucky enough to have the stroke in the part of my brain that didn't affect so much of my language, and I could read. And I can count. But to write a number down or look at a number, I have like these little blips of like, okay, I know what that is, and then nope, you don't. Yes, you do. Nope, you don't. And even when I make the shape of the number, it does not look like any number that it should have a name like 5. And it's like I can go it over in my head over and over. I don't understand why that's a 5, and it doesn't look like a 5. But if there's 5 of something in a pile, I know there's 5. Those kind of weird connections. Like we were playing dice last night, and I could count the dice and knew, but I really had a hard time writing the number that I counted down on the paper. And even if I said it again like 11:50, I couldn't. I could remember how to write 50, but 11:50 and 50 didn't seem like it should go together. So that kind of thing. My memory is a lot better, like things that happen throughout the day, as long as it's not something that I just neglect to hold on to, which it could be a really huge part of my day if I don't find ways to check myself and pull myself back into, you know, an active thing. If I'm concentrating a lot on physical things, I have more difficulty sometimes with physical things, it seems like. It's either that or I'm not remembering. I've learned that, like, when you don't have enough space to make your body function correctly, or your thoughts project correctly verbally, that a lot of information gets discarded. Now, that could probably be why I didn't remember a lot of stuff from my stroke, I think, because I was so busy repairing things, there wasn't a lot of room for storage, that kind of thing, or, you know, and right after you have a stroke, your brain swells up a little bit too. That's why a lot of times you're worse right in the beginning, and then when some of the pressure is relieved, you have a lot more function. So those are a couple things. I don't drive now because I think I explained, or I will in the next part of this, that, you know, I just can't pay attention well enough. I can't necessarily reason something out as quickly as you may need to get a reaction, or, you know, or I may not react correctly. You know, it's one thing when you're trying to sort out unimportant things, and when you really need to sort out important things. And sometimes you can't really make the difference. You don't know what's important and what's not. Those kind of things sometimes are lost, I think. And you have to learn those things, and learn maybe another route, another way to file them in your brain. And I've been really fascinated with this in a lot of ways, and I believe that this these cognitive issues that I'm having are actually a huge contributor to why I've been able to heal as far as motor skills and things like that really fast, is because your left brain seems to be the logical side. Your right brain sees all the possibilities and all the things that are out there. Your left brain puts it back together. Your left side reacts like that. And when you have a stroke where I did, it affects the part of judgment and reasoning and inhibitions. Like, I may not understand that something is dangerous, that it would be obviously dangerous. There's a real risk of missing serious steps in something because you're not going to realize that those are serious steps. They don't they seem like any step. So those are some of the things that I'm trying to learn to change, and it gets quite frustrating. I mean, I think I told my speech therapist, I feel like I'm a smart person that is really stupid right now. Or I used to be a smart person. And I'm not gonna lie, there's some emotional crap that goes with this, I mean, but, fortunately, my short-term memory is, not great, so, if I do feel bad, it's for a real short period of time. It's frustrating, I'm getting frustrated at times, and I jump steps even in emotion. Sometimes there's no build-up. Sometimes all of a sudden I'm just upset inside, like that. I'm upset and it's boom, And I'm like, well, I don't even know what the fuck I'm crying about, but I know that ultimately it might have came to that, but the steps that it was leading to weren't there, so the whole emotional experience really made no sense, and that's really frustrating. It makes it kind of hard to well, I like to act, and I like to dress up. I mean, you guys watch some of my videos and try to, make a story, and I feel really lost in that. I wouldn't know how to do that, I don't think, and then, or I mean, I do, but it would take a lot of serious thought and no distraction, and that's the other thing too, is distracting. Things that distract me would maybe something I'd ignore any other time, but my brain's saying, look, and I'm like, why? And it might be something important, it might not, but it's all equal until it gets sorted out, and that's the thing, Let's see, emotionally, I really, I'm pretty up most of the time. There's been a couple days, that I really felt bad, and there's been a couple days that I felt bad because I felt bad, because I went to therapy and I seen some brain injured people that were struggling so much more than I was with the physical end of it. They couldn't speak, and they were, they were younger than me and everything. And I felt so guilty for even feeling bad about what's wrong with me. And, so then it turned into, like, being mad at myself for feeling sorry for myself. But, I'm still super grateful that I'm not in that position. And the things that I have that are causing me, well, actually the things that I've realized, those main things so far that I can see, I can't make up a story, numbers are, you know, I'm sure there'll be more things, you know, but in some ways I feel like these things that are supposed to be my deficits right now are somehow going to be how I heal. You know, without all the judgment of all the past and all the things you know for sure, looking right through your right brain, all that there is options. And I do think that's why I might have healed a little faster than, you know, people expected or whatever, is because I didn't think anything different. I never thought at all at one time that I wasn't going to heal. I mean, my expectations were always that tomorrow was going to be a lot better, and every day it's a lot better. And if it isn't a lot better, I don't really remember that much. I think that, you know, without the restrictions of you know, maybe my carnal judgment, you know, everything that I've always believed as far as, you know, utilizing universal healing energy and the things I've practiced is really what's brought me to this so quickly, is because there was nothing to change my mind about that. There was no outside or left brain filters that said, no, maybe this isn't going to work, or, you know, you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't believe that. So the biggest deficit maybe that I'm left with at this point is probably also my biggest asset to healing. At least that's my theory for now. But I've been trying to get this video posted, so I'm going to try to do that now. And the next few talks I'm going to have, I mean, I might talk a little bit more about my stroke if anybody's got any questions. I mean, I really, it's really been an interesting journey. But I'm ready to start getting back to what I do. And I think that the things that I'm struggling with, or that I'm actually just realizing and learning to adapt, is only going to be a benefit to me and a benefit to my psychic ability, and probably leave me as a lot clearer, more open channel, because I don't really have the doubt and inhibitions that I would normally have during a reading. There's really no judgment because I can't even judge myself. So, you know, I mean, people are human, you know. I mean, you see what you see, but, you know, to describe it, we try to candy coat it, or we try to make it clearer for the person we're, you know, reading for or getting our point across to. And you know, I've always been pretty blunt on my readings, but blunt now. I mean, Because that's all there is. It's just like totally whatever it is comes through. Don't ask me afterwards what it was, because I don't know. I really don't. And honestly, that's a benefit to me as well, because you know, while I'm doing readings or energy work for other people, I'm also absorbing the healing energy that I need to keep getting better. So, alright, well, I'm going to go on to the next part, if it's even necessary. I'm not sure right now, but if not, hey, it's been crazy 10 weeks, and it's only getting better. Really. So, and thanks for watching.